Alright, multiple attempts to make this. I'm not a professional by any means, but here's the deal. This Cyberlink PowerDirector, to purchase the app, it's only $5.99. It is, let's just say, legit. Alright, it's super stable. It doesn't drain my battery, and when it's processed, the videos are true HD. The audio sounds great. Nothing that you've edited is offset or misplaced if it's supposed to sync up and line up correctly. The only competitor I've really found with as many features has been Video Show, and if you're watching this, you've probably found Video Show, and even though it has a ton of features, it's a little unpredictable at times. Some of the stuff is pretty corny. They don't do well marketing what the app can do to people who are wasting their time with it. If you visited their Facebook, they're just taking pictures and slapping a Video Show stamp on it. It's useless. So, with that out of the way, oh yeah, and Video Show thinks you're going to pay $13 to $15 a year for what they offer. No thanks. Here's where we're at. PowerDirector, $5.99. I do not believe they offer it for Apple at the moment. Sorry, but if you're an Apple user, you probably lack some basic skills needed for life. No offense. Alright, PowerDirector, we're going to start a new project, and this is the screen that you'll see when you start a new project. And we can name it whatever we want. In this case, it's going to just stay 1029. You have the widescreen aspect, which, horizontal and 16 by 9 vertical. Videos are not meant to be taken vertically. I hate that. You take a picture like that and you end up with very little that's usable. Don't. It would be nice had there been a, what do they call that, a letterbox, old school 4x3, but you don't need that much anymore either. So we hit OK, and what you see is there is a timeline, and that's the way we edit this, and you'll notice several layers. And just to try to show you all the features as quickly as I can, let's see, where, download, I may have deleted it to save space. I've already completed the project that I was going to show you in this, but I'm going to show you how I put it together quickly. Alright, when you want to make a choice, you double click. Just to make sure you can see that. You see the little plus sign shows up, or you can play it and it gives you a preview of what it is. Now, in this case, I'm going to make a countdown video like I do for my church, which is why I have a bunch of these. Try to be legit as you go about finding these videos, because this app is not going to make these, but it will allow you to edit them into a more useful video. Alright, so we click the second time. That is now inserted. Now, here's the thing. My videos are only 5 minutes when we do a countdown in service. So we're going to trim this, and we're also going to get rid of this weird background music. I'm sure someone was proud that they made that, but this isn't the Matrix or the 80s, so other than just turning it down like that, we can click on the file, hit edit, go into volume, and we can just turn it down. No more of that. Alright, our other option here, which it may not show it to you in this view. Oh heck, I'm not worried about that yet. We need to trim this video. That's where we're at. So now we've turned off the original audio because it is not suited for our application. And we're going to scroll over, which if you're tired of scrolling, you can condense this just like we zoom in on photos on our phone. But what you end up with, sometimes the preview is not entirely accurate of where it's at, so it's best to stay zoomed in. Alright, now I want to cut this to 5 minutes. So I've gotten close to 5 minutes. I've selected this video. You see the green bar around it. We're going to hit play. And as it gets to 500, we're going to hit the cut button right here. It's a razor blade. And there. Now what you can see has happened is it's inserted this little transition option, and it's cut our video into 2 portions. And we're going to just simply get rid of this one. Oh, no. Look what I did. We're going to get rid of the 501 up to 10 minutes. Hit delete, and now this is all shifted. So now this is from 5 minutes to 0 seconds. Our next situation we run into with this is we need to insert the actual video that we are going to play along with this countdown, because that's how we roll. I can't talk that way, I'm a dork. Alright, so in this instance I've used this Micah Tyler video, which we're going to preview and see that it's 3 minutes and 38 seconds. In case you missed that, right there at the bottom. That's important because we don't need to preview that. We're going to add it. You can see that it inserts it at the end. Now we're going to go in and edit this transition, which there are multiple options. This is just a countdown video opening service. We're going to go with something pretty simple. So it's either a blur or a fade or any number of things. Let's just go with the regular fade for right now. And let's see if it'll let us preview this without jumping. It can be glitchy, but not very often. When this video transitions, which again I'm zoomed out so far so I can't tell how far that really is. We'll get back in there. Now you can see we have our fade transition from one point to another. Now that was a little quick, so what we're going to do is select that fade and go up to the timer button in the top right and make that more like 3 seconds. That should make me happy. Whatever. Alright, now here's the thing. This video was 3 minutes and 38 seconds. Oop, don't need to move that. Let's undo. This video itself is 5 minutes. Now, I don't need 5 minutes and then a video. My video is going to start midway through the 5 minutes. So, because we know that it's 3 minutes and 38 seconds, we are going to flip back up, which again you can zoom in and out if it makes it easier. Make sure it is selected, hit play, and cut. Alright. Now what we're going to do is delete the second half, because the first half, and my goodness, it's never that touchy. This is our first half. Once it catches up, again, things you can't edit out. Alright. We're going to get rid of this, and here's what we're left with. Oh my goodness, I'm a dork. Again, we got to put our fade back in there because I deleted that earlier. Again, bring our time back up. I'm not going to edit this out because at least now you see what it's like to use it. Alright, here we go. Now we get a feel for it. Again, there's no audio on my timer right now. It fades into the new video. The audio with it's turned all the way up. And we like to do lyric videos. It's much easier if you can find a lyric video already put together, but you have the ability to type them in yourselves. So let's just say right here, we're going to pull it back a touch. Come on. We got to catch it right before it starts. Alright, that's as close as I'm worried about getting. We're going to hit this layer button, select title, and they give you a pretty decent variety of options. We can even go into get more, and there are a few that are unlocked or locked. Actually, let's see. I think typically what they do is they let you use it one time without buying it by watching an ad, which we'll go ahead and... What just happened? No thanks. Ah, now it's going to fault on me. Here. Those other two should already be unlocked because I watched the video once. It may not let me do it a second time. So we'll go 30 seconds through this and skip ahead. Alright, 30 seconds of your life have been wasted. X out of that because you never download what they what they're trying to sell you. And you get to use a few extra special effect titles. Some things are fairly generic, some are pretty cool, but in this case we're going to go back to the standard stuff and probably just use the default with fade. And right here we click on that, We're going to click on the text. It opens up our box where we can actually write what we want and put I used to get caught up. And there is more to that line, but it's not worth wasting your time to do it. All right, so here's where we're going to fool with it a little bit. We need to get the timing right. Pretty close, but not spot on. So we're going to zoom in a touch more. Let's see how far we're really off. All right, it is barely anything, but it makes a big difference between a professional looking video and one thrown together.
I used to get caught up just chasing distractions.
And what we need to do now is actually drag the video out to where the audio stopped, or the lyrics I should say.
Distractions.
That'd be a pretty good place. And that's all you're doing is following the audio, and right about here before the next line starts, we insert some more. Now, this is a boring font, and again, you click it, it'll take you into this screen, hit the edit button, and that is where you can do color, shadows. You can make it a little bolder, which in this case we'd make it black so it stands out against the background, that kind of thing. Not really worried about that. What we really want to do is focus on obviously bold, italics. You can change the justification. You're pretty much always going to have that centered. And then if something is off, you can do that and it will adjust the justification as far as being centered on your screen. Like I don't want it there in the corner, I want it to be in the middle. So there we go. And there are a number of font options. Most of them aren't anything too fancy, but they get the job done. I kind of like the old typewriter text look that this gets. And that's really about as easy as that is. I like, the one thing I do like about the fade in these is it's not just all at once, but if there's multiple lines, even 3 and 4, they will fade in and out independently. Gives it a unique look for sure. Alright, but I don't need that, so I'm going to delete that because there's already lyrics in your video. But here's the other thing we got to do now. We've got this at 5 minutes. I need this timer to carry over into my lyric video. And what we're going to do in that case is click on that layer button again, hit video, and at least I got all my countdowns in the same one. It gets confusing. Instead of using the same video, I'll go with one a little more simple. We'll double click and we'll go into play and see how far off or close these are. Let's move it out of the way. We can resize it, and that doesn't seem to be matching up yet. Let's see what happens. There we go. Alright, so those, for me having trimmed that first one, those are pretty much spot on. And here's what I usually do. Make it just big enough to see on your projection screen, whatever you're using into your church facility. Place that down in the corner, size it to fit. There's already some countdown music on this, but again, it's very odd, and sorry, I've probably been off the screen for a while. We don't want this countdown music. That's just, it sounds very weird. So we're going to turn that off. But we're going to let this play through till we get to our transition. 3:38. Alright, now select that. Remember the razor blade there. My goodness. I'll give that a second to catch up. I think it's a processing issue. There we go. Alright, razor blade, play button, and we're going to cut this secondary timer. That seemed to happen pretty quick, which I don't want. Our transition is almost 3 seconds. Alright, let's see how this comes together. Now, the thing to keep in mind is your previews are always just a little sketchy. Sometimes they come out sharper than others. In this case, wasn't quite what I wanted it to be. But the trick now is lining up when this countdown begins along with your fade into that new screen. So that is what it is. Okay, check that one more time. 39, 38, 37. So it should blend together pretty well in the end. But our other important thing is to make sure that our time doesn't just drop off or keep counting down and the song be over. Then you end up with too much dead space. There we go. Remember that undo button. I just drug the whole video the wrong way. Alright, we'll zoom in. Now we can get to the end faster. Alright, so now there's a decent bit where the video will be over, but the countdown will still be going. And we don't want this video to just abruptly go black. We want to fade that. And surprisingly, the time wasn't too bad. So what we're going to do is we're clicked at the end of that video. We're going to add another photo. And in this case, we're going to go to color board, double tap the black. And now we are going to have a transition onto that plain black background, which let's just make it a blur. And give it a second to process. It fades out. The 0 timer fades on its own, which again, I like how it kind of has its independence away from the other video. And the last thing we need to do here before we process it and move on to the finished product to show you, we are going to insert some audio. So again, in case I click that too fast, our top button, music, and it's going to show where all your music files are stored on your phone. I've got this music for videos specifically, and in this case we'll go Toby Mac instrumental, which I believe is something someone put together because you can't find it anywhere else yourself. But for being put together by somebody at home on a computer, not a bad thing. Now what you'll notice here is you can actually see the volume levels in the video. And that's useful for cutting and trimming, because right now this is all dead space. So what we'll do is we'll select this and go ahead and hit the cut button. And now, just like we did our video, we've got a section 1 and a section 2. And we can go ahead and delete that dead space. We'll grab this and move it over to the beginning. So now when we play it, we've got our audio straight from the beginning. Alright, jump across. Again, we're around that 340 mark. And we need to trim this again because we don't want the music here to overlap on our music video. So making sure you're selected, hit play, and we'll crop that out without letting it go too far past our transition, which that's probably a little further than I wanted to go. And here's the other important thing we need to do before we do much else before I forget. Fade in and out. Select your that audio track, and fade in and out will definitely help with transitions. So in this case, although that's awfully quiet, you probably couldn't hear it. Instead of an abrupt stop, it fades out along with the fade from the countdown into the new. Alright, so with that, I've covered essentially everything I can think. Again, there's special effects that I don't typically mess with, but if you want to see what happens, then by all means just play around with it. But I haven't found a great use for it myself yet. Let's see, in that case it's making it a little blurry, so we're just going to delete that. Now we're back to our nice fine lines. Alright, I'm going to process this, go through the finished product real quick just so you can see what happens, and pick it up from there. Alright, the video is finished processing, and had a small glitch, so you missed the the finished product here. Let's see. Quickly, oh look at that, text message, perfect timing. And one of the important things that comes into this, I only have about 2 or 3 gig space max at any given time. Movies, Cyberlink, and PowerDirector, that's where your videos go. I processed this video twice, one with a lower resolution than the last one, and actually the difference here, I'm kind of glad I did that now. The 75 megs is with a 24 frames per second frame rate. The one that's essentially double was with a 60 frame per second frame rate. So it does make a difference, and if this video were processed in full HD instead of standard definition, it could be an 800 meg file. They get pretty big, but they are high definition, so it works out that way. Alright, we'll get out of this, and we don't really need PowerDirector anymore either, but I guess one important thing to show you is that even though I've already processed this, I can go right back into the project and continue to make changes. Or if I back out completely, it saves that as a project itself we can go back into later. Alright, and that should be about it for the program. Our finished product. We will go into our PowerDirector, and again, there's 2 because I have a lower frame rate and a higher frame rate. We'll go into the one we just processed. Alright, so we've got the countdown that we took the original music out of. We inserted new music, fade in and out with it. And let's get to our transition. Nice and smooth. And of course, we deleted the subtitle I inserted because that was for demonstration purposes only. Alright, so that countdown timer in the corner goes all the way through. And just to show the outro, how we fade to black, the countdown ends on its own. And that's it. So, like I said, PowerDirector, pretty cool product. It's only $6. Completely stable, much more reliable than Video Show and some other cheap ones I found out there. Now there's a lot more you can do with it, I'm sure, but in about 25 minutes I feel like I've covered essentially everything you can dive into. So for being able to overlay multiple video files, I don't think you've got anything else that can do that. So thanks for watching. Check out my channel. I got a lot of other videos. This is really the only one along these lines. So like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below. Keep it clean, and let's be civil. You put something inappropriate and nasty on there, I'll pull that crap off. Thanks for watching.